All right, welcome everybody back to In the Room, and joining us right now, one of the top stars on the independent scene today. I haven't seen him in a few years, but we're excited to talk with him nonetheless. Ty Awesome. Ty, it's been a couple of years since we've seen you in the ECWA. What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Definitely just, still, inspiring and, still aspiring to, do my best in everything I do. And, yeah, it's been a while since I've been with ECWA, but I'm definitely not a stranger to that ring still. I've still been around going from state to state, just trying to get my name out there.
All right. So what have you been up to?
So right now I'm pretty much a mainstay at 1CW Pro Wrestling, where I'm currently one half of the 1CW Tag Team Champions with Sean Carlson. I recently just made my debut in the 2300 Arena for the National Wrestling Alliance, also known as the NWA. I just recently won the Next Up Pro Wrestling Championship in Virginia, going to West Virginia for WDWA. Yeah, man, going to the Monster Factory. Definitely, staying busy, staying busy.
Well, it definitely feels like every time I hear your name, it seems like you're somewhere. Let's start off with the NWA, because I think that's a huge achievement for a lot of people. What was that experience like, kind of being part of such a historic show?
Man, I'll tell you what, for someone who, this, I've done extra talent for WWE. It's definitely different at the NWA, definitely not as suit and tie-ish, but it was definitely a great experience. You know what I mean? I had freedom to go around, do what I want, and meet people. To do it in the 2300 Arena, super cool. That was my first time wrestling in the 2300 Arena, so definitely really cool that the first time that I got to do that was with the NWA. And the show was the Crockett Cup, and my first trainers were the Briscoe brothers. So, and then they've won the Crockett Cup. So to be able to wrestle for the NWA, wrestle in the 2300 Arena, and wrestle in the same tournament that they wrestled in, just a huge accomplishment in my point of view. You know what I mean? It's just hit 3 goals right there in one.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, that was really cool. And I guess I did all right. I received a call yesterday, and I guess I'll announce this with you, Brady. But
okay, cool.
I'll be going to Tampa, Florida, July 1st, and I will be. I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I'm going to be a part of the NWA Power TV tapings. So, with them just getting the Roku deal and everything like that, this is a huge opportunity. It's going to be my first plane ride. So I'm super excited to go to Tampa and wrestle for the NWA again.
Seems like things are really kind of coming together for you there. So for NWA to invite you back, obviously that's a huge deal, especially to travel like that. What are you kind of expecting from this experience? Actually getting to hit the road really for the first time outside of that kind of tri-state area.
Yeah, dude, I'm super excited. It's definitely bringing me back to years ago when I first started and going to these new states and being like, wow, this is a whole brand new toy. You know what I mean? It's a whole brand new environment to work in. And this is the farthest south I've gone. Never, like I said, never been on a plane. So it's the first real excursion that I've had versus traveling up to 6 hours, you know what I mean, in the car. I didn't want to do the 12-hour drive, so let's do the flight, man. Forget about it. Little nervous about the flight, but I mean, I think I'll be all right. Most people do it every day, and in our line of work, people do it every day. Yeah. So it's just something that I'll have to get used to if this is going to be, the thing for me.
Yeah, now the flights aren't that bad, really. Now you mentioned training under the Briscoes. For those who maybe aren't as familiar, we've seen them on TV, obviously, and RIPJ. But what was that like to kind of have those guys as your mentors?
So it was a little crazy. So when I first met them, I was 16 years old when I first met them. I was still in high school. But they didn't care. They didn't take it any easy on me. They definitely threw me against those ropes, made me bump. They're definitely the nicest guys, man. They were the nicest guys, very giving, very informative, constantly busy though. So, I mean, it's always hard to coordinate with them. But I still keep up with Mark right now. I still let him know everything I'm doing. Hey man, wrestling Matt Taven this week. Hey man, doing this week.
Nice.
Hey man, I'm going to be at NWA this week. I remember he messaged me about the Crockett Cup. He was like, hey man, I heard you're in the Crockett Cup. I was like, yeah man. He was like, dude, that's good stuff, brother. So it's the connection's still there. Briscoes are forever in my life. That's how it's going to be. I'm forever entwined in the Briscoes. But man, when I tell you they're the greatest tag team in the world, they absolutely are. In my opinion, no one will be able to touch the Briscoes. It's very hard. Are there spectacular tag teams that compare? Absolutely. But them boys are nothing to play with.
No, that's really cool. And it's funny you say like you started at 16 with them, because I remember hearing that they were like 14 when they started, and they started out wearing masks so that nobody knew how young they were. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, man, they didn't care. They were wild boys. I remember hearing a story from the Briscoes that they would wrestle in their backyard on trampolines. And one time, Mama Briscoe was walking by, and one of the boys did a front flip and landed on Mom, broke her collarbone.
Oh my God,
dude, there's wild boys. They are.
Yeah, they are wild. They are wild, but I'm sure they taught you so much about the business, and you could definitely see it even from a couple years ago when I knew you more familiarly in the ECWA. Kind of like looking forward, what are you looking to get out of your career? Like what at this point? I mean, you're a couple years in now. What are some of your goals?
Yeah, this November will be 11 years since my first independent debut match. Yeah, okay. 11 years. Wow. So, man, my goal has always been to learn. That has always been my goal, to try new things and experiment, see what this whole wrestling journey is for. I feel like I was talking to my buddy the other day, and I was like, man, I really look at my life, and like the only thing that's ever made sense is professional wrestling. That's the only thing that's ever made sense in my life. And I feel like it's really brought a purpose to my life. Of course, my motivation out of wrestling is to be on TV, every week, every Monday, Tuesday, whatever, that's always going to be my goal, as well as learning. And like now I've gotten to this point in my career. It's like, all right, I'm a little over 10 years in. I recently just bought my own wrestling ring,
Wow.
So like, I always think about it all the time. Like, do I think I'll be ready to, teach other people how to do this and stuff? And, another big goal of mine, I think we talked about this when I was in ECWA, is to run shows. I've always wanted to run a show in Salisbury, which is my hometown. So, that's not out of the cards either. You know what I mean? If one day I'm just like, hey, I'm going to take it easy on the wrestling, maybe I'll try this part of the business. Cause I feel like at this point, I'm never getting out. I'm never getting out of the business. I was bit by the bug. Yeah.
I love it. No, that's great. And it sounds like you got kind of a multi-tiered approach there to success. One of the listeners wants to know, and I found this interesting as well. You've been a bad guy at times, which like I have always had a hard time kind of picturing that. What has that been like for you? Is that as much fun as it sounds? And which do you prefer?
Dude, being heel is crazy. I never thought that I would do that with my character, and honestly enjoy it. There was a period in my career where I wanted to just slow down just a tad bit. I felt like there was a period where I was a one-trick pony where I did flips and stuff like that. So I really wanted to prove a lot of people wrong. I really wanted to step outside my comfort zone. If you know me, I'm a nice, genuine kid. I'm a 30-year-old kid. But being the heel and being somebody that I'm not is so much fun. Like one thing I've really gotten to enjoy is being able to lock in the crowd and getting them to be upset and getting them to boo and get them hyped for the baby face. I've really tried to master that down, and I really do enjoy doing it. It's a lot of fun. I love being a heel. It's like I said, it's out of my comfort zone, but I'm a ridiculous heel.
Right.
I'm very ridiculous. I'm very loud and obnoxious. So it's definitely things that I enjoy. I would like to say I enjoy being a heel more. I would like to say that, just because I'm ridiculous. You know what I mean? I do whatever I want and say whatever I want compared to the baby face where I'm very
Yeah.
cutter. I'm very like, let's do it for the crowd, because that is the genuine person I am. Let's do it for the crowd. Let's make it the most exciting and let's have some fun entertainment. But as the heel, okay, let's make it entertainment, but based on the story. So those are the two kind of things that differentiate the two. But I probably enjoy being a heel more, but I feel like I get more reward out of being a face.
Okay. Another listener question here. They want to know your favorite crowd to perform in front of so far.
Oh man, there's so many crowds. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
right now, like I'm typically used to performing in Delaware with 1CW. I do love the 1CW crowd,
Okay.
but I love going all different kinds of places. The Philly crowd is nuts. I love going to Philly and see, like, whenever you get an ECW chant in Philly, you're doing something right.
Right.
So I definitely love the Philly crowd. I love working the New Jersey crowd because I'm a very super indie kind of style sometimes. So, and New Jersey's kind of a place that will appreciate that. There's even some people in West Virginia where I don't have to work as hard, and I can wrestle, and they enjoy good wrestling versus all the high flying stuff. So it's always different. You know, I always go back and forth on, you know, what I prefer, I guess, but I don't really look at one crowd as the same. I think that's always important too, is to read them. But man, I think right now, like, I really enjoy a good wrestling crowd that enjoys high flying and action, because that's really what I'm about.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Now I have to say, Ty, I mean, having known you over the years, it's been kind of surreal to see you kind of grow up in the ring in a lot of ways, because you were kind of a kid when I met you. And, you know, now you're kind of one of those veterans on the independent circuit. I just think it's cool. It's not so much a question as a statement, you know, how much you've grown up in the business these last couple of years. It's been a really nice thing to see.
Man, that means a lot. I really appreciate it. It's kind of weird sometimes to be like, "Yo, Ty, you're the vet. What's going on now?"
Yeah,
I'm like, "Oh, that is me right now, isn't it? Oh
it
no."
is. It is. Yeah.
And over time, you know, I catch myself being the one to understand the match that people are looking for more, and being the one who calls it more, and which I enjoy, you know. And I think it's cool when I get somebody who's younger than me now. Like I try to think
Yeah.
of like how I was when I was facing the veterans, and now there's some people who are just currently getting in, and they're like, "Oh, I've heard of Ty Awesome." And one, that's a huge compliment in general,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. But to be able to help those kids and be able to, you know, get them to progress and help them move forward and give them a good match, because that's one thing I'm always about, is having a good match, whether it's your first day or your last day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm always about putting out the action. That's always been me. So yeah, man, it's definitely surreal to be the vet. So
Yeah.
but I still feel young. You know, I still have a lot I want to accomplish. 30 still, you know, a good age, and you know, I still have a lot in the tank myself. So
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
You know, I was thinking about you the other day because the last time I saw you was at the ECW arena for that the TWA convention.
Right.
You were there, and you know, not far from you was actually Sabu, which is like, if you think about just the last couple weeks and losing him, and like all he meant to so many different people, I can sort of see an influence of him in your style a little bit. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, Sabu was the, you know, innovator of the high. I wouldn't say the innovator of the high flying style, but the extreme high flying style.
Right,
He
right.
was really not afraid to throw his body on the line for the entertainment of the people. And that's one thing I'm about too, is diving out to people, just trying to get as much innovative and awe-inspiring work as I can. And Sabu was one of those people. He would do whatever it took, do the springboard to the outside, through the table, whether it be the tiptoe moonsault with the chair, you know, whatever it is, man. He was an innovator. So yeah, man, Sabu definitely played a part in my career, as long as, or as far as, you know, viewing him and being like, wow, this guy's insane. He knows what's up. So Sabu definitely was a huge catalyst for the high flying style, and just not being afraid of anything.
Sure, sure. Another thing, so you mentioned 11 years in the business. That's nothing to sneeze at, obviously. Anything you would have done differently? Not regrets. I hate to say regrets, but anything you maybe would have approached differently in your
Sure,
career?
yeah, absolutely. I wish I got in the gym a lot sooner. You know what I mean? I really did. I really do. I never really got real dedicated into the gym and really understood calories and protein and all that good stuff until maybe the last 2 years. So like, I really wish I was more disciplined at the beginning and
Okay.
didn't really be complacent with, oh, I'm a small style wrestler, so I can stay small. I wish I didn't do that, because I look at people now like Marcus Mathers. He's 21, cut, and he's there. I'm like, man, I wish I did that. I wish I was 100% in. And not that I wasn't 100% in, but I didn't put in all the time that I wish I am doing now. So that's definitely one thing, is, to stay physically fit. I mean, I've always been in shape, but, you can always do better. You can always do better. And that's one thing I wish I did, is, try to strive to be better, not just in the ring, but outside, because the agents look at everything. So
sure.
That's definitely the biggest thing in my perspective. I don't necessarily, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not too hard on myself about it. I try not to be.
Okay.
I look at what I did do as a guy who's under 200 pounds and wrestled people over 250 pounds sometimes. So, I mean, I'm very grateful for the career I've had. But I think if I had gone the extra mile in the beginning, who knows where I'd be right now.
Well, how much of a difference has that kind of conditioning made in your career in recent years?
A lot.
Yeah.
I have people like that I haven't seen in forever. They'll be like, dude, you've gotten bigger. You got a chest now. What's up, man? So I definitely still get those kind of reactions, and those kind of reactions I enjoy too.
Okay.
People recognize the hard work that I'm putting in now. They realize I'm not as skinny as I used to be. I got a better posture. So different things like that. It's cool. It's cool. But that's one thing I really wish I did was go a little harder in the gym like I am now.
Yeah. Now, this listener wants to know, and I think it's a great question, by the way. So you mentioned having had experiences on TV with WWE. What was it like to be like that young and, for example, being thrown around by the Viking Raiders? Like, what was that like?
Man, it's surreal. It's so surreal.
Pinch
It
yourself?
really is. So when I did that, I was 24.
Right.
So yeah, I was 24 when I did that. So still relatively young. I was probably in the business only 4 or 5 years. I think my first indie match, I was 19. So about 5 years I had been in, and it was very surreal, and it almost didn't happen, which is cool. Well, not cool, but like it's cool that it did happen.
It worked out,
It almost didn't. Yeah. So like they picked the two guys just randomly. Abyss was the agent, and they're like, all right, these two guys, better luck next time tomorrow, guys, for 205. And Eric from the Viking Raiders, he was like, no, let's go through the gimmick with all of them. Let's see how it is. And like, I was the second to last one. And I tell everybody at the same time, because it's literally like how it was. It was literally like the scene from Dirty Dancing where they pick you up, and looked over to Abyss like this, still holding me. And he was like, I want him. I want him still holding me in the air and everything.
Yeah.
And that's how I got the spot for Raw, and it worked out. And then the next night, 205 Live, I got lucky again. We did a tryout match, and Sean Devari said I fit the bill, and I got put in another tag match the very next night. So definitely very grateful for those 2 days. Because who knows, it was just kind of right place, right time kind of thing. It seems like wrestling is like that, right place, right time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it was with NWA too. I was at training, and Carlson got a message. He was like, hey, Crockett Cup, need a partner. Who do you got? And I was right next to him. So it was right place, right time. And I got asked a couple questions. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I can do that. And it's like, all right, man, we'll see you there. So, just right place, right time. Super grateful for those opportunities. But the crazy thing that happens is it's all so fast. You know what I mean? It seems like you're there for a couple hours, but it feels like seconds, because the business behind the scenes, it moves so fast. You literally think of a wheel in a machine. It literally works like that. It's nonstop. So I feel like I never get a real chance to, I wouldn't say enjoy it, because we're working, you know what I mean? But I do enjoy it, but it's just so fast. Like once I get in the car and I'm about to go home, it's like, I just did that.
That's right.
Like it's so crazy.
It hits
But
you later. Yeah.
yeah, and it's still like that with the Crockett Cup. I feel like I won't really let it all sink in until it airs on Power. So because that's I made it on TV under my name with my hard work,
Yeah.
and just being at the right place and right time. So
Definitely be on the lookout for that, Ty. And I got to say, I wish you nothing but the best in future right time, right place opportunities. Because, like you said, that is a lot of times what it comes down to. If people want to follow you on social media, what's that situation like?
yeah, so if you want to follow me on social media, I'm Ty Awesome on Instagram, Ty Awesome on X, or Ty Awesome Pro on X, Twitter, Ty Awesome on TikTok, or you can find me on Facebook at Ty Awesome or Tyler Hastings. A lot of my matches get posted on my dad's YouTube channel, which is Papa Scott Productions. You can watch a lot of matches on there, even that aren't mine. He'll do full events. So if you want to see my work, you can look up my name on YouTube or look up Papa Scott Productions and you'll find it.
Well, there you have it. That's pretty cool. Ty, before I let you go, got a quick favor to ask.
Sure.
Would it be okay to get you to record a bumper for the beginning of the show? That way, when you are big and famous, I can act like we talk every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome.
And
Pardon the pun.
Yeah. And it's in the room with Brady Hicks, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now watching In the Room with Brady Hicks.
Hey, thanks so much, Ty. It's been a real pleasure to catch up with you. Hopefully we talk again soon.
Yeah, man, I was super tickled when you shot me the message to be on the podcast. I was like, man, I haven't done this in a long time. So it was literally just like it was yesterday. So I really appreciate you for keeping me in thought.
Of course, yeah. Let's not go 7 or 8 years again.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Cool. And this has been Ty Awesome. And stay tuned, guys.